bit of a strange question, but I'm looking for a new church. I'm about 30 and I'm single. It's quite important to me to have sort of like opportunities to meet other single Christian people. What do you think my chances are of getting a husband?
This is Season with Salt on Salt's YouTube channel, where we discuss all things being Christian, dating and being single. And today I'm joined by Gayathry. We're going to talk about the best churches to meet single people, if it's okay to move church just to meet someone single. And I've got a feeling it's going to be a bit of a spicy conversation. Let's pretend, right? You've upped sticks from West London.
Yeah.
And you have, for work, moved to Manchester.
Okay.
What would you do to find that church where you know you're going to get that community? Because if you just rock up to a church on the high street, that's hit and miss. What are you looking for as like a single person choosing a church where actually, to be quite specific, there are opportunities to meet husbands or wives, in this case, potential husband?
I think that's a hard one, because do you mix and match? Do you just jump around and be like, I'm going to be a bit of a church hoe and run around? Am I allowed to say? From my own experience, I grew up in quite a small kind of community church, and then I went away to uni, and then I came back to that church, but it was very clear it was so small, and it was getting smaller as well, so it was much smaller than it was as I remembered it being, and so I did need to go to a different church, because that was the only thing I could think that I would be able to meet friends and guys, let's be real, and I think there was also the added pressure of, okay, I've come back from uni, and like being Asian, it's like, okay, well, you've got your degree now, you just need to get married. Like that's like the next step. So I was like, so there's a bit of pressure on that.
When you first decide that you want to move church or you move into a new area, I think like church shopping
100%
is like almost vital, but also don't do like 20 different churches. Like pick a handful that feel like they might be the right vibe. Go to them and just pick one that felt like the best fit, because there's no perfect church, is there?
No, exactly.
You know, and actually if you sort of scout around and you're like, okay, there's 3 guys here who don't seem to have wedding rings, I'll stick here. Like you just don't, you know, it's just all of it.
I don't think it should be the driving force. I think ultimately church is family, and it's a community that you're going to invest in, because if you meet someone and then you get married, you'll hopefully stay within that church community.
So here are some of the things that are on my shortlist. I feel like these things are indicators of like a church where there might be.
Okay. All right.
A church where younger people might gather, people without families and stuff like that, right? Yeah. Good Instagram with a few nicely designed Bible quotes.
Yeah.
I think that was quite key. I feel like often there's a vicar with a beard who uses some kind of beard oil.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've spotted that. That's like, that to me says that church wants to be trendy.
I can see something in my head, yes, and ankles out, lots of ankles out.
Oh my gosh, if there's no ankles, you're in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And to be honest, if you just drop something, you just look under the pews, you can tally that so easily, you know, like, okay, good ankle here, you know. Yeah.
Jewellery, a lot of man jewellery specifically. Like the pinky ring I have seen a few times now, and I'm like, wow, okay, we're doing this. Okay, so sort of mafia don kind of feel, yeah.
Also, if I see on a website that there's like a lot of social events organised or like a sports team, quite a few churches have got like a sports team.
I've not seen, no.
Like, women's and men's.
Amazing.
I know of one with a netball team. Where else have we got? I've definitely heard of like a cycling club in a church. When you know that someone's making the effort to open up spaces where people who don't have kids and you know can go and meet, and I'm sure there'll be married people at those things as well, but just to get those people in a room together rather than just dipping in and out, like you say, like potentially anonymously on a Sunday. That to me is like, that's a good place to start, you know. So I would shortlist those types of places where I feel like they really invest in their like extracurricular.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I think that's just making an effort, because it is part of your ministry if you want to encourage people in the church and keep the church going. Because the problem that I think faced the church I grew up in was that people sort of died off. That sounds awful,
And
but
no younger
and there was no
people
younger
came.
people to keep it going, or there was
that's the
very
story
few
in a lot of
right?
churches.
And I think so. You do. It is part of your ministry to make the effort to
community, yeah.
and get more younger people going. Going to church to meet people, I would say it's a bit dangerous to say I'm going to like go to meet a husband or meet a wife or whatever. But I think definitely to make friends and meet people, 100%, because you need that support. You need people that you can do life with. It's very obvious when you're at church and you can tell there's people there that are purely there just to try and meet people, and it's
sleazy.
sleazy. Yeah,
Is when you see someone jumping from person to person, like figuring them out and then moving on to the next one. Exactly. I agree. To kind of like scout the room, realise that you don't want to marry anyone and then leave.
Yeah.
Just doesn't feel like the heart of Jesus.
No, it's not quite.
If you're enjoying this conversation, definitely hit like and subscribe so that you can check out more of the content on the Salt YouTube channel. So let me ask you, do you think it would be socially acceptable if you moved to a new area and you called the church and said, like, tell me honestly, am I going to be in a social group like the one we're describing if I go to your church?
I don't know.
It's a bold move.
It's a bold move. Like do people even know that? But I mean, I guess you would.
So I called, bear with me now.
Oh, wow.
I called just a few churches, some of the bigger ones that may or may not have already come up in this, and, you know, others around the country, just to see what response I got from the reception team when I asked, am I going to meet someone here?
Did you specifically say that? Wow.
Hiya, I've got, it's a bit of a weird question. I've just come to the area and I'm looking for a church, but I am single and about 30 and I want to make sure that I'm in like a good community of people where I can meet people, like friends, but also potentially like dating. Where does your church stand on that?
Yes, if you'd like, we have a coffee shop, and it's just really nice environment. If you want to come in and we can sit down and meet, we would love to do that.
Oh, okay, that's really kind.
We'll treat you to a cheeky coffee and a croissant on us as well, and then we can talk further. Does that sound good to you?
Oh, that sounds amazing. I tell you what I'll do. I'll drop you another message when I'm sort of settled in.
Even if it's not this church, we basically have a thriving cafe, and loads of people coming in here, working in here, lots of people to meet, and also we're doing the Alpha course coming up as well. So it's an opportunity to meet other people, as well as we have connect groups as well, with lots of people in their 30s.
Okay. Oh, that's great. All right. Thank you so much.
No problems at all.
Cheers.
Great to speak on the phone, and look forward to speaking soon.
All right, bye.
Cheers. Take care. Bye.
That was so nice. They were like, come in for coffee and we'll talk about it. Oh, I love them. I just love them. That's the best. That's the best response I've had so far. Oh, hi. I've got a bit of a weird question. I was wondering if I could run by you. I'm just looking for a new church in London and I've heard some really great things about yours. But basically, I'm single. I'm like in my 30s and I'm really keen to meet someone and to do dating. And I just wanted to check, like, is there a good sort of community of single people in your church?
I don't really. We're quite a large church, so yeah, I guess there would be, but I wouldn't say it's made up mainly of single people, and then I wouldn't say that it's mainly made up of like couples. Like it's just averaged out. Okay.
I mean, what do you think my chances are of getting a husband?
I don't know, sorry. Like, I wouldn't want to say, like, I have no idea, sorry. Probably not the best person.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not the best person to answer.
All right, then. Maybe I should just come along and check it out.
Yeah.
All right, thanks very much.
That's okay.
Bye.
Bye.
I've got a bit of a strange question, but I'm looking for a new church, and basically I'm about 30 and I'm single, and it's quite important to me to have sort of like opportunities to meet other single Christian people. And I was just wondering what your church is like for that.
I see. Okay. Right. Okay. We have a number of services on Sunday.
For the sort of late 20s into their 30s, sort of single dating
6
scene.
p.m.
6 p.m. Okay.
6 p.m. is for sort of a younger, sort of 20s and 30s, and we also have students as well.
Okay.
Workers and students.
Okay. All right, that sounds great. I'll come and check it out and see what the vibe is, maybe.
Great. Okay.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Bye.
Thanks for calling.
That was awkward.
So that's how that went. Maybe, I don't know if that's inspired you to give it a go. Maybe you guys are thinking you better get on the phone to your churches, but also maybe not. But either way, oh my gosh, thank you so much. This has been such a wonderful conversation. I feel like we covered so much ground here. If you have enjoyed what you've seen, like and subscribe. We've got plenty of content coming on the Salt YouTube channel, and we'll see you next week.